All right, what's up, y'all? Today we're going to talk about using listening as a meditation focus. All right, we have 3 different focuses that we like to use in meditation. They're listening, feeling the body, and then also focusing on the breath, which is a very traditional focus. And we like all 3 of these because they all cultivate present moment awareness, because they are all in the present moment, right? But today we're going to talk about using listening. It's one of our favorite ones to get people started with because it's easy to listen. You can do it anywhere, anytime. And let's just rehash what meditation actually is. So remember, meditation is a practice session. That's why we like to call meditation practice. All right? It's like a mental workout. When I go to the gym to do a workout, I am there for that. I am there to practice some skills and do some repetitions. And when I come into a sitting session for meditation, this is a practice session. This is a workout for the mind, right? And remember, meditation is all about having a gentle focus, noticing when you're not on that focus, which means noticing when you're thinking, lost in thought, talking to yourself, getting irritated, getting caught up, getting a little anxious. Anytime you notice yourself not on your focus, because eventually you will notice that you're not on your focus, then you deliberately come back to whatever your focus is, right? And it's that coming back that is the training moment. That's what we're looking for. When you come back, that is a repetition, right? So in the case of listening, if I'm sitting here and just listening to some sounds, let's say I'm listening to the traffic in the distance, right? At some point, I'm going to get caught up in my mind about something. I'll be lost and talking to myself. I may be off in some kind of fairy tale, but at some point I'll realize that I'm not listening to traffic anymore. As soon as I notice that, I just gently come back to listening. And what happens is I create space and thought. Every time I choose to focus on my focus, I create space and thought. It's the way that it works, right? I interrupt this cascade of thinking that is the repetitive, habitual way of thinking, right? I have a thought that initiates a bunch of other thoughts, and then I'm off in some kind of fairy tale. Now, when we do this, we're also enhancing focus, because every time I notice myself distracted and I deliberately come back to whatever it is my focus is, I'm enhancing focus. I'm training focus. I'm also cultivating the capacity to become more present, because every time, in the case of listening, I decide to come back and listen, I'm coming back to the present moment. And I think what's most important is we're cultivating this skill, which is what we like to call seeing what's happening. We're cultivating the capacity to see what happens throughout the rest of the day, meaning we're cultivating the capacity to notice ourselves thinking, to notice ourselves distracted, to notice ourselves getting caught up, to notice ourselves getting triggered and frustrated and upset and having a critical judgmental mind and being offended and not being focused on what's in front of us. There's a million different forms that takes. But whatever it is, all those things are keeping us away from being in the moment and being present, and they're contributing to the suffering that we all experience on a regular basis, okay? So that's why we're doing this. We're doing this to cultivate a skill, all right? Now, there's nothing more present than present moment sounds in your present moment experience, because by definition, anything that you can hear right now is in your present moment experience. So that's one of the reasons that we love to use listening as a meditation focus. When you listen, you're completely present, right? Because in the listening, there is only listening. So if I sit and I just listen to what I have access to right now, I have a jet going overhead, so if I listen to that jet, immediately there's some space created. There's no thinking, because it's almost impossible to initially focus on that focus and not create some space and thought, all right? Now, what's going to happen as I do that is I'm going to start to think about something. And at some point, I should notice that. And when I notice that, I gently, deliberately come back to whatever focus it is that I'm focused on, okay? So when we use listening as a focus, we want to be gentle and easy about it, all right? We don't want to be harsh about it. When we notice ourselves thinking, we don't want to bat our thoughts away or talk to ourselves about our thoughts. We just want to simply acknowledge it, right? So we do this by keeping our eyes open, having a very nice, gentle, calm, easy attitude towards the whole process. And what I want to do is I can either sit and listen to everything that I have access to. So like right now, if I just listen, I've got traffic, I've got birds, I got some people talking in the distance. Those are all part of my experience right now, right? So I can choose to listen to everything at once and create some space. Or I can choose to listen to one sound out of all that. So I can choose to listen to my traffic. Or to keep things fresh and exciting, I can bounce around from sound to sound, right? So I can listen to traffic for a little bit. After some time on traffic, I can move to birds. If I have a plane fly overhead, I can listen to the plane while it's there. So it's pretty flexible and easy. The goal is just simply to listen, right? And to acknowledge the space that comes from listening, right? And again, as I'm listening, the goal is to notice myself thinking or lost in thought or talking to myself. And this comes in a lot of different forms and degrees. Sometimes I notice it right off the bat. Sometimes I'm off in a fairy tale. Sometimes I'm genuinely upset about something. Sometimes I feel like I have to stop it short so I can get up to do something. Sometimes I get irritated by something. No matter what that is, remember, we are here for this. So if I'm sitting for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm here to do this. So at some point I notice myself lost. As soon as I notice it, I decide to come back to my focus, all right? And then I create more space, all right? Now, again, what this is doing for us is we're gonna notice that throughout the day, we also catch ourselves. We catch ourselves being distracted. We catch ourselves being caught up and upset and having a critical, judgmental mind or thinking worst case scenario, all the different things that kind of plague us throughout the day. And when we notice it, that in and of itself is an amazing thing because we stop that repetitive, habitual cascade, right? It doesn't keep thinking from coming back, because those thoughts may come right back and then you have another practice moment, right? But what happens is as I sit every morning and practice, I notice the texture and the tone of my days start to change because I see what's happening and then I have a chance to work with it. And I'll also notice that I don't get as caught up as I used to and I don't get distracted like I used to. It's always still going to happen, but it just happens to less of a degree and it doesn't happen for as long periods of time, okay? All right, so let us know if you have any questions. Anytime you feel stressed or worked up or anxious, just listen, all right? And then also spend some time, dedicated time each and every day, sitting and listening.